Happy new week, everyone. Thank you for coming back. I do appreciate you showing up here with me to see what our next painting palette challenge is going to be today. So, we are still in the Color Cube Box 2 by Sarah Renee Clark. Let's go ahead and open that up. And randomly, I'm going to probably end up with a few, but only go with one. Oh, I think I got one. I have one in my hand. All right. So, this is the color palette 287. Again, from Color Cube 2 by Sarah Renee Clark. The colors are, wow, that's a dark burgundy, caramel or caramel, marigold, so in the yellow family, peach, orangey yellow family, and royal blue. These are what I'm going to go look for. And I am actually going to use acrylic paints today, matte paint, because quite frankly, I feel like watercolor has been kicking my butt lately. So I want to switch a little bit and do some acrylic, but I want to make one solid background at one time with the acrylic paint. I am going to be using a silicone wedge. This one's made by Catalyst. They make all different kinds of silicone wedges, and it allows you to just smear the paint across your canvas, your substrate, whatever, and, make designs or make texture. So I'm going to be using this, but don't let that stop you if you do not have a silicone wedge. You can use something like a bamboo skewer. But Linda, I don't have a bamboo skewer. Well, you can also use something like an index card, greeting card that you got. You can actually use also like one of those gift cards or an expired credit card. As you can see, I am back and I have grabbed as many colors of matte acrylic paint that I think are going to work with our palette here. Let me go ahead and grab this out here so we can get a little bit better of a view. Dark burgundy. So I have this folk art in berry wine. So we're going to see maybe adding a little bit of this honey gold to it might end up working out. Plus the honey gold can sort of go with that marigold. And then I picked up this yellow orange light. So that is matching up pretty darn good with that peach. And then blue was sort of trying to figure that out. That's blue, more of a purple tone. I mean, I could go and grab one of my Liquitex in the purple and then try and blend it down. But you know what? I'm not going to get too hung up on it. So I think what I'm going to do is use a little bit of this azure, which is actually very dark, almost black looking, but it's a very dark blue. And then see what happens mixing it in with either just true blue or dark blue light, because I'm really not into trying to figure that all out. We'll see what we come up with. You never know. Using some of this berry wine mixed with some of this might bring about some of those tones. And of course, I've got some Trillium White just to help move things around, lighten up things if I want to. Got all my brushes. But first, I'm going to use a silicone wedge. I did go and find actually a business card that was a little bit more thicker than what I was saying. You could always use these index cards. Let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to, I think, I want to use, let's use these guys first. We'll put everybody else over here in their holding pens. This is going to be in several stages just because I'm going to be making that whole background one solid color here. I'm going to put this over here. And I'm going to make this one whole solid color, which means once I smear it, I need to let it dry. So hence why I don't have any of my clamps down or anything like that right now, because I'm just going to put one whole layer on it. This watercolor paper will most likely buckle. It will, but once it dries, I can then clamp down. But at least I'll know that I'll have, where the clamps are, has painting underneath it. So anyway, I have, this is, again, palette paper, but you can use anything. Heck, I got this this is actually from an outing I went to. You put your wine glass here, and you put some food here and here. I think it was your utensils. And yeah, now it's my palette. So what are we gonna do? It may come out nowhere near close to that blue, but I want to have a blue background. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a little bit of here, a little bit of here. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit here, here. I'm just completely just throwing it all down here. And I'm going to just do a little bit of white in here just to see. Oof. Right off the bat. Oof. Didn't mean to put that much of a white right there. And it's just gonna, it won't be like a full solid color either because it's going to be blending it all together. So anyway, let's leave these ready to go. I'm going to start it out first with the wedge just because I want to, but I'll probably pick up trying to do a little bit with this. Let's live by the seat of our pants. So what you do is you can just, at this point, move it around and see what you're going to come up with. So already, it's not anywhere near that blue that was on that card. And I should have also probably put some paper towel underneath here between the different layers. So one of the things that you can do with that is you can just bring it in towards the paper versus going off the paper, which means it'll have more of a likelihood of staining, sort of like what it just did here. Just dropped into some of the other pages. Oh, that's going to be nice and blue underneath there. It's all about going with the flow. And the more you move around it, the more it's just going to mix around. So if you wanted to get it really mixed, you know, you didn't want it to get mixed, then you would start to stop. So what I do with this is wipe it off. Some people will go over onto a palette and put it onto the palette so that they're not wasting, or they think they might want to use some of that. Because you know what? You can always use these palette papers. You can save them and use them for backgrounds on cards. But what I'll end up doing is you just get some water, soapy water, and you can rinse it right off after a while. So just to show you, because there's still some thickness here. So you could actually just move that down. And again, if you have, like I said, a credit card or a gift card hanging around, you can do that too. I'm going to just use that to get it out of these areas here. So see, you don't have to have a silicone wedge to do this. You can use, like I said, old business card, an old gift card. So it looks like we're going to have a blue background that is not matching that blue. It's more ocean blue, I guess, than royal blue, which is the color. But you know what? It's all good. We'll come back and I'm going to show you the next step. But like I said, I really want this to get a good air dry. So as you can see, I have definitely let this dry. Yes, it is a dark blue. It does not match the blue of our palette for royal blue. So I have been going back and forth. Do I want straight lines? Do I want diagonal lines? Because right now I'm going to put down sort of a pattern of lines. And I believe I'm either going to use, I may use an 8, but I think I may bring out the big gun, 14, just because I want to be able to go ahead and make some nice stripes the long way through. So the stripes pattern for the background, I believe I'm going to use the berry wine and then this golden honey from Yvette Saint Amand. So these may end up needing to have more than one coat. This may do it in one, or you know what? If it is a little bit transparent, I may just go ahead and allow that to happen. So 2 cups of clean water at the moment. My spray bottle of water at the moment. I also have right now for this, I have this light orange or orange yellow light. And I do have a white in the background in case just for this part. And I guess worst comes to worst, let's just start going. Let me start out with this berry one because in case I need to make extra runs on it, I can. And then I'm going to just go ahead and on this palette paper here, I'm going to go ahead and put this honey brown out because that is definitely looking a little bit like that marigold. We're supposed to be trying to go for deep, dark burgundy. I got that wine. What happens if I mix it with a little bit of this golden honey? What do you think is going to happen with that? Okay. I'm just going to keep painting. Okay, I'm mixing it up a little bit. That's actually coming out pretty good. So I may mix these two colors up together and see how we go from there. That's sort of given that burgundy that had that brown tone into it, but it's still burgundy. So let's see how we do. And we've got paper and some cloth in case I need it. All right, so I'm gonna start from up here. Let's just go ahead and do this. So again, not really getting upset if my lines are not perfect. Just get it out here a little bit bigger. And we'll do a run of these. See how they dry. I'm just letting this spread out the way it wants to spread out. It's just going to be the background. So you'll see what I'm thinking about trying out on top of it. And now, if I was really trying to do this diagonal, I would be doing it right here. But you know, part of me is sort of wanting it to have this see-through because it gives it a little bit more of like a curiosity, like what's peeking through, what's not peeking through kind of thing. See if we can keep this burgundy mixing down with this brown. All right, let's get another line going here. So this one should probably start from right here. And let's use the other side. And use whatever I've got loaded on my paintbrush right now. Come back and finish up some of these. Now, if you like to have your lines nice and crisp and exact and perfect, you could go ahead and just tape and then paint between the tape lines, and then you would be able to get that nice crisp straight line if you wanted it. But I am freehanding on this. Mix a little bit more of that burgundy in with that brown. We get a little bit more. And it is actually sort of turning that color a little bit more as we let it dry. There. If we can get a couple more out of here without me having to make more mix up right now. And then, all right, there we go. All right, so we got that part done. We're gonna let it go ahead and dry. Let's go ahead and just dry a little bit on the cloth here. All right, now I wanna do actually smaller dash lines in there. So I'm going to actually use the honey brown without any mixing in it. We're just gonna, and that brush is a little bit wet. So let's try not having as much as I think I want on there. Okay. Yeah, let's make it a little bit larger. It's got more space in it, so these lines could actually be a little bit more larger in size. All right, let's go here. Can you see sort of the pattern that I'm doing? they're staggering a little bit. A little bit of a misstep there. And we can have this coming off here. Now, if I ever go to take this out of this book, then some of that is going to actually be cut off. All right, we're almost coming down here. These are just, I could have actually even done this with a flat brush. Okay, so this is still sort of wet. Let me see if I want to just make some touch-ups in some of these places that are a little bit more see-through than I would like right now. I'm going to touch it up. Then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab my hair dryer and give this a nice little dry and touch up any of these little diagonal stripes that I settled on. And then we can go from there. You can see, what do I actually want to put on top of the stripes? And I've gone ahead and dried. There's a couple puffy little places here and there, but we're going to go ahead and keep going right now and see what we can see. I'm actually going to start out with white. I know that's not part of the palette, but as you know, I reserve the right to bring in white, black, and metallics. I am bringing in the white because I want to lay down the white first on some of this stuff before some other things that I want to mix over it. So we're going to put down some white, have that there. And I'm bringing out that yellow orange light. So that's going to go with that peach tone a little bit. Looks yellow to me. Let's see. Does it change color once we put it on the palette? Not too much. I've got a couple of different, I've got a filbert and I've got a angle. And I still have my larger long round. We'll keep him handy. But I think, just because this is almost like, instead of a safety security blanket, this is like my security paintbrush. So it's an 8 round. So let's see if we can get going on what I'm thinking here. So I'm going to start with the white. And we're just going to dip in here. I want to do a larger start of a flower here. Maybe a medium up here. And then I may go for a small kind of flower down here. Now, again, I always do abstract because my hands just don't know how to do it in reality. So we're just going to do this. This is going to be a little bit of a larger flower. And I'm not going to get too concerned of, oh, does it have the right point? All that kind of jazz. Not yet. Maybe not ever. This is a lot of times, like I said, probably getting sick of hearing me say it, but this is just me using this opportunity to make myself get loose, to basically really not be too concerned with if what I'm doing is logical, goes by any theory of any kind. Just loosening up a little bit so that when I go and look at other stuff to do, then, you know, I can just go have fun with it because I've already loosened up. Priming the pump, so to say. And this is always also just a really good time to, a little bit in here, good time to just experiment with some things. Experiment with brushes, experiment with techniques, color blending. I went and got some new fresher palette paper too, because the blue is all over the other one. And if I go to use some blue later on, we can put it in there. Now, I need to do some petals, but I sort of want them square. So let's start out with, this is a 1/2 inch flat, and we're still sticking with the white. Now, why the white? Because one of the things that sort of has come up in figuring out all of this stuff is, that putting down the white, and sometimes if you go to, I'm going to move my palette card, it can help brighten some things up here. So we're just going to come down into the center. This is going to be that larger flower that I was saying I wanted to do. Let's move all this up so that I can just move this around a little bit better. So we're just not really caring. Just putting these down. I'll see what I come up with. How will I make it work? And yep, that could go up a little bit. I want to play with filbert today. Now I want to put something down here. And let's see, while we move around, hoping that these guys will dry a little bit faster than what they're looking like. One can hope, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that filbert. That's giving me nice petals. Look at that. That's definitely looking like petals, isn't it? And yes, I even painted over my stripes. I am painting over those stripes now, aren't I? And hold your arm up because you don't want to get it into the other paint that's trying to dry. So excuse me if that means this shakes a little bit and I shake a little bit. Because one shaky hand holding another shaky hand still just equals a shaky hand. So I like that one. What happens if I come up here? Can I get it to? Let's just play around with it. You don't have to be. This is the base coat. So just bringing that in so that we can have that lying off of them. In the background. No technical term. Probably not even the right term. We're just experimenting. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put a little bit more in here. Some shorter petals. There we go. And just make that one thicker. That's where we started with that one, didn't we? We're just going to make him a little bit thicker. And the good thing is usually acrylics dry a lot faster. Some of these are coated a little bit thicker than others. Oops. Yeah, what happens if I do that? I'm going to switch back to my other brush here. And I'm going to try and put a little bit more weight on there. And we used this. So let's just put some water on this. So I don't know. Let's see if it's going to be too juicy. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Put another coat on there. Just so I can have it a little bit more consistent white. All of that blue. It probably need to. No, that's pretty good. I'm pretty much okay with how it's dried. If any of what I'm going to do next with some yellows blends in with the white or gets mixed up with the white, it's okay because it's just we're layering right now. So I picked up the angle brush because I want to play with the angle brush. Let's just see what the angle brush can do. And we're going to just go in. Okay. So we're just going in. And now I'm just adding some more to our flower. Trying to go for very loosey-goosey rose. And let's just do that a little A bit more here. And the funny thing is I'm never good at balancing out and counterbalancing some of these strokes. It's pretty funny. Let's see what I'm doing here. Lost my momentum. Ah. And even though that's looking really good, I want to bring those points out a little bit more. There. We've got yellow going there. We got yellow going here. Okay. I want to go with this one. Let's go with this one. All right. So I've got to come back in here. We're doing this lighter yellow. So I've mixed in some of the yellow orange light in with the white to get this lighter color yellow. And I'm thinking I'm going to actually pop in a different color in here too. I like that kind of, you know, that rough edge that the filbert has. So I'm really trying to accentuate using that on the outside at least, keeping that sort of texture. And I think I said it, that again, that white underneath it is also to help another lighter color sort of pop and have a little bit more vibrancy to it. And now remember, flowers are not perfect in the real world. They have their flaws. I know, I'm just like, what the heck? You didn't use that paintbrush in the first place. Yes, it's true. I didn't. Striking while the iron's hot here. Part of me trying to get over always having to be spot on and 100% correct. And, you know, I don't have to do that for a living anymore. I don't have to be 100% correct. And if I mess up this, I'm just wasting some paint and paper. And you know what? It's never always a full waste, because you can always take white paint or gesso and paint over something and start all over again. Okay, so now I am going to go in and use more of the straight yellow. So now we're just going to come in here. I'm just going to do a regular petal. So it's got that regular kind of point that you would see on a flower. Go ahead and get that point. So you see, it is a little bit of a darker yellow. At least I'm seeing that it's a little bit of a darker yellow in here. Get that petal to look like a real petal. Just start going ahead, making a little bit of a circle in here. Now let's see if this is going to come out this time. Okay. There. Going to be subtle, I think, here. Looked a little bit uneven there. Okay. And again. Let's get it a little bit better than that. So, teardrop, other teardrop, side, and paint it in. Okay. Here, it's a little bit smaller. You can still do it. Hell, there's something in the air. It's nice and cool today, because if you can't hear her, Misty, my baby kitty, is going a little bit crazy right now. And she just distracted me on this petal. All right, this one's going to be a bigger one. There. And I may end up, when I go to put the center in there, I may not even need that. We got that going on here. And we can just bring that out a little bit. Anyone that I want to put extra points on, this one sort of needs it. Now, anywhere where I'm seeing like, hey, let's just add a little bit more in here. And I don't care that I'm going over some of the white. Use this white edge underneath it to pop some of that color. Round isn't exactly the best brush to be using on this right now. And didn't I say I was going to put another color on here? I did say that. I also have a feeling I know what I'm going to do in there too. All right, let me just start building this up in the center here. I just got hit with an idea. So just so that it has something else. One down here, do one up here, sort of just sticking with the pattern. All right. So dried that up. Now what I'm doing is I've mixed a little bit more of that wine berry, the berry wine, some more of the honey gold, and then the yellow orange light, sort of mixing it together. Just put a tad water on my board, mix it down a little bit better. We're getting a dusty rose. Let's see what it looks like in here. Okay, here we go. I am not getting stuck on where am I putting these. I'm just going to start putting them. I'm not going to lock myself into thinking about too much about placement here. A little bit more where I think I'm not quite, yeah, I got some spaces going on and just want to fill them with this new color. And we're sort of running out. So let's see if I can mix this and get that same tone so I can at least get this part done. Okay, a little bit more brown. Sort of there. Okay, got it back. Okay, let's get this out of the way. And we were trying to do something more out here. You would maybe want to be maybe more exact. Still, probably going to come back in for one more round before I do something that I'm thinking about here. I can get just a little bit more on these thinner ones here. So we. All right, now over here, trying to see. I want my center colors have honey brown center. So it is, for the majority, the honey brown mixed with just a little bit of the yellow orange. And have their center here. Sort of liking the paintbrush bristles are leaving a nice texture to that center there. So right now we've got that. One more thing I've got on my mind. Okay, let's see. Am I pushing it too far? All right, let's go in with the 6. Okay. I think we are all almost completely dry here. More because this is not a very thick. I'm just feeling like putting it there. Letting it go where I feel like letting it go. Yeah. And if you were really picky, you would come back in, make sure some of these have a little bit of blunted ends versus having some point to them they normally would like to have. These are my liner brushes and I never can get them to work very well for me. me see. Hey, what does it look like if I do it this way? Up into the point versus down into the point. Probably the better direction to go. Oh, come on. I'm going to get mad at this brush in a second. Not the brush's fault. It's the painter's fault. I'm liking that a little bit more. I want it to bleed up the petal a little bit. So I'm just going to fix some of these. If I can. Yeah, I can. I have sort of a flower in my mind right now. Sort of using whatever I have on the brush right now to put a little bit of this red, move it around a little bit, going around this flower a little bit. Actually, I sort of have a flower that looks like this right now. Just put some water on me. Just put some water, see if we can get it to play nice. Almost finished with this. Getting quiet on you because I guess I'm into it now. I've entered the zone and I forgot that you're here. All that good stuff going on. Okay, how can I make this work? Because this ended up being a lot darker here than what I wanted it to be. Dabbing it down. Okay, yeah. There's one more thing I want to do, and then I may just say that's it. And I'm gonna maybe do the wrong thing and freehand it, which could be one of the stupidest things that I'm about to do with this. It's not something metallic yet. Now I'm gonna go get black acrylic inks, and we're gonna see if something I'm thinking of works or doesn't work. All right, I grabbed it. It's the Dalerani black acrylic ink. I have shaken it up a lot. Now, I'm going to start by freehanding it. Otherwise, you can do like what I did here. You can put it in a well and use a liner, but I don't feel like doing that right now. All right, here we go. And that's sort of why you don't freehand, because this does have texture on it. Okay, let's do. Okay, all right, there we go. Let's do it this way. All right, let's try. Now you can tell I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. Okay, now let's see. But you know, she's sort of trying to be a flower. There's enough ink in here that I'm just now going to try and use it. Trying to get a little bit better points. And so much ink over on that board that I can just go ahead and use it to my advantage over here. Nothing going to waste. Why load up your paintbrush again? I've got enough paint over there. There we go on that here. This is where you're just trying to be okay with what you are capable of doing. When in doubt, just go with the swirl. Okay, here we go. We got that one with dots. We got this one with a swirl. Decided, yeah, let's put in another line or two. Okay. There we go. I wanted to. This isn't exactly working the way that I want it. Put it down here. Look a little bit even. Just go up here. A little bit of stem. Just a weird, strange garden. Strange flowers at night. Go ahead. Doesn't have one up here. Not exactly the was correct. Big rose of some sort. One that's coming off. I may just say, good enough. All right. I think we're going to be good enough. All right. It's a funky little rose. I did, for the most part, stick with my colors. We got burgundy. We've got some caramel in there. Definitely got the marigold colors. We got the peach colors. Didn't come anywhere near that royal blue. Again, I said I got more of an ocean blue. And then I brought in black and white to help out because that is a very dark blue background. Thank you for joining me with another one. I hope that you at least got some kind of enjoyment, even if it was booing at the screen. But at least it's just to show, hey, what can you come up with the palette, off the cuff, and just explore, try things out, experiment. It is not meant to be perfect. But if you did enjoy today, please, I hope if you haven't already subscribed, that you do hit the subscribe button and you hit the like button. And please share. It does help out. All right. Until the next one, have a great day and thank you again.